This is my faith, this is my focus. All of my days, I know where my hope is. I live it loud, I shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I fix my eyes on you. This is my faith, this is my focus. All of my days, I know where my hope is. I'll live it loud, I shout the chorus, because I know, oh, you're always for us. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And even when it's hard for me to see, I will trust in you, I will believe. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. You are my only focus. I fix my eyes on you, oh yeah, oh yeah. Woo! You ready? Come on, let's go. Hands in the air, hands in the air. I know you're there, I know you're there. Anywhere, oh. Anywhere. I fix my eyes on you. Hands in the air, hands in the air. I know you're there, I know you're there. Anywhere, I fix my eyes on you. And keep on looking to you for where I'm going, knowing you go there too. I'll keep on looking to you. I'll fix my eyes on you. You are my only, you are my only focus. You are my only focus. I fix my eyes on you.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Propel. My name is Miss Megan, and I am so excited to see all of you guys back here again for another week of Propel. Wow, you guys just got so gigantic. You see, that's because I use binoculars. Binoculars are something that helps you see something that's really tiny and far away. It helps you see it up close, and it makes it a lot bigger. For example, there might be a tiny speck on that mountain over there, and I can't really see what it is. But if I use my binoculars, that tiny speck turns into a big grizzly bear. You see, my binoculars, they helped me take a closer look. There are other tools, like binoculars, that help us see things more clearly, like telescopes, microscopes, glasses, magnifying glasses, and of course, our handy-dandy binoculars. All of these tools help us to see things more clearly. They help us to focus. Now, do I have a surprise for you? As you can probably already tell from what's behind me, our new summer series that's going to be lasting the whole entire summer is called Focus, Take a Closer Look. And for the month of June, we're going to be taking a closer look at something that we can't actually see, and that something is called faith. Do you know what faith is? Let's go to our Life app to check it out. Our life app says, faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. And that's kind of a tongue twister, so let's read it again and make sure you're reading it. All right, ready? On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Faith is trusting in what you can't see because of what you can see. That's right. You see, it might sound strange to put your trust in something that you can't see, but when you think about it, that's what we do when we have faith in Jesus. We can't see him, but we believe and we trust and we have faith in him, even though we can't see him. You see, faith is being sure of what we don't see. And our Bible verse for the series is Hebrews 11:1, and that's also talking about faith. So let's check it out. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is being sure of what we hope for. It's being sure of what we do not see. That's right. So how can you and I be sure of what we believe? How can we grow to love Jesus more and more and more if we can't even see him? Those are all very good questions, and we're going to be answering them later today. But until then, I think it's time to play a game. Who's ready?
It's game time.
So, have you ever looked at a picture and it's really, really blurry and you can't really see it no matter how hard you squint? Well, we decided to make a game out of that. So today's game is called Fuzzy Image. So we're gonna put up a very blurry picture on your screen, and your job is to try to figure out what that image is. Now, don't get discouraged if you don't get it right off the bat. The more time goes by, the image is gonna get clearer and clearer and clearer until finally we reveal the picture to you. Sounds pretty simple, right? So, you ready to play Fuzzy Image? Great job, guys. Could you see the image when it was blurry? I don't know about you, but things got a whole lot easier once the image came into focus. So now that we focused our eyes, it's time to focus our hearts because it's time for praise and worship. So as usual, we have 2 songs for you today. If you know the motions, great, go ahead and do them. And if you don't seem to remember them, it's okay. Go ahead and make up some of your own. So let's stand up and get ready to focus on Jesus.
Again.
Oh, I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love in the dead of night, and you tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, and I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Because you are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. You are perfect in all of your ways. Oh, you're perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to us. Oh, it's love so undeniable. I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable. I can hardly think as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still as you call me. Deeper still into love. Love, love. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're a good, good father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. You're good. You are perfect in all of your ways. It's who you are. It's who you are. And I'm loved. You are.
Hey Propel, and let me just welcome you again to this service. I'm so excited to be able to be here today and talk to you about faith in our brand new series, Focus. And I hope you like the new set and new setting. Guys, we're excited about where we're headed because in just a few weeks, we're actually going to be able to meet together again as one at church. So keep in mind, June 21st, Father's Day, that's when we're going to start getting back together. And we're also going to continue having online services for those of you that aren't able to start back yet. But let's get to our point today. Again, we're talking about faith. And kids, faith is so very, very important. Faith changes the way we live our lives. Faith changes the way we think about ourselves. Faith changes the way we think about God and the way that we treat others. Our faith is like those binoculars that Miss Megan had. You know, a set of binoculars that you pick up and you look through to see things more clearly. Except faith is like binoculars that we can look through to see everything in our life. See, faith helps us to make sense of things and know what to do when things get hard and things get tough. Our faith reminds us that we can trust God no matter what. Listen to those words from chapter 11 of the book of Hebrews. It's found in the New Testament. You can read this in Hebrews chapter 11 verses 1 through 2. And here's what it says. Faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. That is what the people of long ago were praised for. You see, faith is all about believing things that you can't see because of what you can see. We can't see God, physically, but we can read about people who came before us that followed God. There were men and women who faced tough times just like you and I, just like what we talked about in our last series and the things that we're going to face. See, people in the Bible that were hurting and scared and sometimes overwhelmed, but they chose to follow God. They chose to trust His promises and the promise that He would one day send a rescuer. And guys, we know this, that rescuer was Jesus. The writer of the book of Hebrews reminds us about some of those people. Some of the people who we've met so far in God's big story. People like Noah and Abraham and Daniel and David. Take Abraham, for example. Okay? Remember, Abraham was very, very old. Really old. And it didn't seem like he and his wife Sarah would ever have any children. But if you remember, God what? God stepped in with a promise. God told Abraham to leave his country, to leave his people, to leave his family and go to the land that God had shown him. God promised him that all the nations of the earth would be blessed because of Abraham. You see, God was planning to send His rescuer, someone that would come from Abraham's family. He left his home. He left his people. He followed God's call. He did all that God asked him to do. And eventually, Abraham's son, Isaac, his grandson, Jacob, and his great-grandson, Joseph, they all chose to also put their faith and their trust in God. And just like Abraham, they believed that God kept His promises. Another great example that we've talked about in God's big story is Moses. Like Abraham, Moses was called by God to do something rather extraordinary, something that he didn't feel like he was ready to do. And in the moment, he couldn't really see how it would all work out. He didn't see how God was going to make all of this happen. But just like Abraham, Moses chose to put his faith in God, to trust God. See, Moses was an Israelite. He was one of God's chosen people. But he had been raised in Pharaoh's palace. Now remember, Pharaoh was the leader of Egypt, and he had forced the Israelite people to work as slaves. Well, one day, God called Moses from a burning bush. Do you remember that story where God spoke to Moses through the burning bush? And in that, He told Moses to lead His people out of slavery. Again, Moses wasn't sure he was the man for the job, but in the end, he chose to stand with his own people against the Pharaoh. Sure enough, God used Moses to lead His people to freedom. And that's not all. When you read the book of Hebrews, the entire book, you discover a huge list of people who followed God by faith. The list goes on and on. It's so long that the writer eventually stops naming all of them. And one name on that list that is mentioned that we cannot forget is Israel's greatest king, King David. Now kids, David knew that God had chosen him to be the king of God's people. But years passed, time went on, and it had never happened. See, to make matters worse, the current king, King Saul, wanted to kill David. And David spent years of his life on the run from King Saul, in fear and running and hiding. That must have made it really hard for him, especially to believe that God was going to do what He said He was going to do. But David never lost his faith. David continued to put his faith in God. And even though David couldn't totally see how things were going to work out, he chose to trust God. He had faith that God would keep His promise, kids. And eventually, guess what? God did it. And David became a great king. He became the greatest king the nation had ever seen. None of these people from the Old Testament could see with their eyes, their physical eyes, how God was going to save His people. Instead, they chose to trust God and believed that He would do all that He said He would do. They believed and trusted that He would keep His promises. They believed that God had a greater plan than anything they could see. They all chose faith. Everybody say faith. Can you say faith with me? 1, 2, 3. Let's say faith one more time, really loud. 1, 2, 3. Now I want to look at the book of Hebrews one more time, and I want you to see how the writer of Hebrews puts it. I'm reading from Hebrews chapter 11, verses 39 and 40. And it says this, all these people were praised because they had faith, but none of them received what God had promised. That's because God had planned for something better for us. Understand, God had something better planned for all of us. See, we talk about God's story, God's big story every single week. And His big story has been taking shape all the way from creation until now. And God did send His rescuer at just the right time, the one He had promised. He sent His Son, Jesus, to be our Savior. Jesus showed us what God is like. He even told us that the most important thing we could do is to love God and to love others. Jesus came to earth to show us the way, to show us how to fulfill this, how to do this. As we looked at during Easter and over the last few months, when Jesus was killed, His friends, His followers, they thought the story was finished. They thought it was all over. But God made everything clear when He raised Jesus back to life. Now, we can trust that anyone who believes, anyone who follows Jesus has the promise of eternal life. That's what it means to have faith. We can believe and we can put our faith in Jesus, even though we've never seen Him with our own physical eyes. The early followers of Jesus, like Peter and John, they showed us what faith looks like. They saw Jesus teach. They saw Jesus heal. They saw Him after God raised Him back to life. And then eventually Jesus returned to heaven and they couldn't see Him anymore. But they never stopped believing. They continued to follow Jesus. They continued to live by faith. Kids, these early Christians believed in what they could no longer see. They knew that they were part of God's big story, even though they couldn't see the end. They couldn't see where God was going to make everything right. And today we can choose to believe just like they did. We can believe like the people in the Old Testament did. We can follow Jesus even though we can't see Him. We can live just like the people in the New Testament did. We can choose faith. And that's what we need to understand today, kids. That's what we need to learn. We can live by faith. We can choose faith. And there's a statement I want to teach you. It says, you can know Jesus even though you've never seen Him. You can know Jesus even though you've never seen Him. And kids, this is so true. You may not be able to see Jesus with these eyes, but you can see how He loves. You can see how He helps people. You can see Jesus at work every day. You can see how people can have faith in hard times because they've put their trust in Him. Now, we need to never forget this. So it's going to be our bottom line, right? Okay, so on the count of 3, I want you to go ahead and stand up where you are. And on the count of 3, I want you to say this with me. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. You can know Jesus even though you've never seen Him. Great job, guys. Now we're going to get Miss Megan to come on back up, and she's going to help us put actions to this so that we never forget it. So everybody, make sure you're standing and get ready and say it with all you've got. Miss Megan, we turn it over to you.
Thanks, PD. So our bottom line for today, like PD said, is you can know Jesus even though you've never seen Him. So we're going to make some motions up for that. So the first part is you can know Jesus. So we're going to do you can know, pointing to our brains, you can know. Now for Jesus, if you remember when Jesus was nailed to the cross, He had the nail marks in His hands. So we're going to do that for Jesus. So let's try that. Ready? You can know Jesus. And the last part is even though you've never seen Him. So for even though, we're going to shrug. We're going to go kind of like, I've never seen Him. There you go. And the last part is you've never seen Him. So for you've never seen Him, we're just going to look like we're looking for something. Whoosh. Now you gotta make sure you do the at the end. That's what makes it cool. So, you think you got all that? Let's try it together. Ready? Here we go. You can know Jesus even though you've never seen him. Great job. I hope you got all that. And if you think you do, go ahead and turn away from the screen and try to do the motions without looking at me. You ready? Here you go on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. You can know Jesus even though you've never seen him. Great job, guys. Our bottom line was talking about faith today, and we're going to be continuing talking about faith, and in order to do so, we need some help from our friends over at the So-and-So Show. So, let's check them out.
Oh, John, good, you're here. And we're starting in 2 minutes.
Oh, okay. You haven't seen my glasses, have you?
You look great.
Yeah, thanks.
Hey, John. Script looks good today.
Really? I haven't read the script. Hey, you haven't seen my glasses, have you?
No, I haven't. Where was the last place you looked for them?
Well, I was sitting right here and getting ready for the show when I saw a little white rabbit run across the set, so I followed him down a hole where I got really small, then really tall, and there was a cat, a queen, and a caterpillar. And the next thing I know, I'm coming through the door and I don't have my glasses.
Yeah, I was going to let you look for them a little longer, but your day's been weird enough already. Your glasses are on your head.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yes, let's get this show on the road.
John, are you feeling okay?
Yeah, great. Now that I found my glasses. Why?
No reason.
Why is everybody looking at me like that?
Welcome to the So-and-So Show. I'm Brandon.
Hello!
And we're glad you're hanging out with us today.
Yep.
Hey, what is with the glasses?
Whoa! Trying out my new toy that came in a cereal box.
You're telling me those binoculars came in this box?
Yeah, but they're
Really?
not binoculars, they're micro goggles.
Ooh, what's micro goggles?
Yeah, they're kind of like hands-free microscopes. They help you focus in on tiny things so you can see them closer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
There's apparently a secret message on the back of this that I need to use these to find out what it says.
Oh, really cool. What's the secret message say?
Eat more cereal. Ha-ha!
You don't say.
Yeah.
Mind if I take a look?
No, I guess it's kind of a subliminal marketing thing, huh?
I don't think it's subliminal.
Wow, man!
Yeah.
What are these things? These things are useless.
What?
I'm sending them back.
No, you don't have to send them back. Wait. We could use them to play a game.
Oh, great!
It's time to play Random Magnified Thing.
Hey!
Random magnified things.
Okay, this screen is about to show us random things as seen through your micro goggles.
Okay.
So, each image is magnified 100 times its normal viewing size. All we have to do is figure out what each thing is. Whoever gets the most right wins. Got it?
Of course.
Great, you go first.
All right, hit me small. That looks like, let's see, 100 times. I'm gonna go with it looks like a trombone, but that's too big, right?
I don't
That'd
know.
be the actual size. Like this is how big a trombone normally
It
is.
looks like a bridge to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a thumbtack.
Thumbtack?
Yeah, the curvature of the thumbtack.
All right, sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah, let's see if you're right.
Oh,
You were in the right arena.
Yeah, office supplies.
That's right. Okay, my turn. Show me tiny. Okay.
I think I know what this is.
I would guess it was like a close-up of like a grasshopper or something like
Yeah,
that. But
yeah.
there's a little red here. A little red and a little green. I'm gonna guess a strawberry.
Ooh, strawberry it is. Brandon guesses strawberry. What is it? Oh, tomato.
Darn it.
Ah, that's right. All right. Back to me. Macro machines go. Oh, what in the world? Oh, wait.
You know?
I know what this is. At first, I thought it was a lemon, but
Okay.
it's not.
I know what it
because
is.
we're magnified.
Yeah.
That is a pencil.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Did he get it?
Pencil.
Yeah, you're right. That was very good. That's very
All
good.
right,
Me
all
again. It's teeny time.
All right.
Hooah. Oh man, that's.
I know what that is.
I think I know what it is. It looks like my favorite dessert. Is that an Oreo? It's an Oreo!
Oh,
I was right.
Yes, you were. Okay.
I want some milk.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, it's my turn now. All right. Micro machines go.
All right.
All right.
What do you
Ooh,
think
what
that
is
one
that? I don't know. It could be celery. Maybe like fiber optic cable,
It
or
does look like that.
but it's bunched up like. Oh,
What are
no,
you
no,
gonna
no.
go
It's a toothbrush.
Is it a toothbrush? You
Oh,
betcha! Well done. Well done.
boom.
Okay, I got
All right, your
another
turn,
one. Minutia, hit me. Oh man,
Oh.
is that more fruit?
It
I don't
looks
know.
like-
It looks like cracks in something.
Oh, that is interesting.
Like oh my goodness,
almost looks like a nose.
it does. Man, that is really hard. I'm going to say it's a bowling ball. I don't know. I got
A
nothing.
bowling ball.
Yeah, so I can't. I don't
Okay,
know
is
what
it a bowling ball? Oh, it's a bottle cap.
Oh, I see. Great.
Wow.
I don't think we can afford that image.
No, but I don't think so either. Hey, okay, let's move quickly.
There's one more. This round is worth 1,000,000 points.
Is it? Why did we bother with all the other rounds?
We're both playing on this one, so the
Okay.
first person to correctly identify the image wins. Are you ready?
Yeah, you're killing me, Smalls. All right, go ahead and hit it.
It's fool's gold.
No,
Is
it's
it,
cornbread. Cornbread.
No, it's the inside of an orange.
It's no,
I
no,
know,
it's
I'm
not.
not very good with color.
Shush.
Okay, why
It's-
shush?
Because I don't want you to win. It's a rock candy.
Rock candy, that's good.
It's the inside of a bee,
honeycomb?
hive, honeycomb.
It's a sponge. It's a sponge.
It's
It's not a sponge. This is going to take forever. Is it the cereal honeycomb?
Ooh.
No.
Is it a cereal? Cereal. It's
It is cereal.
It is. It's Frosted Flake.
I don't know who got that one.
I don't
Really, I
realize-
said cereal. You
know
said
what?
a cereal.
We'll do 500,000 each.
Okay, great.
Okay,
so
that's
I
great.
win.
Yeah.
It's Bible story time with Kellen.
Hey guys, what's going on? Why do you have binoculars on your face?
They're not binoculars.
Don't ask. Do you have something for us?
Well, I do. It's all about folks who believe in something they couldn't see.
Sounds perfect.
They're micro goggles.
Take it away, Kellen.
You bet. Now, we can't actually see God, not even with micro goggles. But we can see the stories of people in the past who put their faith in God. And I've got some special people to help me tell some of their stories. It's time for another edition of
Kids Perspective!
The writer of the book of Hebrews reminds us of a guy named Abraham.
What up? I'm Abraham.
Well, actually, when God called Abraham, he was already pretty old.
Oh. What up? I'm Abraham.
Better. Abraham and his wife Sarah.
I'm Sarah, with an H, in case you were wondering.
No, that's good to know. Even though they were old, they didn't have any kids.
We ain't got no kids.
But God told us to leave our home and go to a new land. He's promised us. Plus, he told us we would have kids. He promised.
Look at us. We're old. We're like cassette players or rotary phones.
Didn't you hear what I said? I said he promised.
Oh, then let's go.
So they followed God and they had kids and grandkids and great-grandkids.
We got kids now.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, they did, just like God promised. God also promised Abraham that the whole world would be blessed because of Abraham's family. Abraham would not be alive to see the whole world being blessed, but he had faith that God would keep his promise. And now let's talk about one of Abraham's great.
Why not just say descendants?
Yeah, that'd be easier. One of Abraham's descendants, Moses.
Let my people go.
Wait, before that, when Moses was a baby.
Go, go,
Gaga!
He was rescued by his mother, who hid him in a basket on the banks of the Nile River
Whoa!
until he was found by Pharaoh's daughter.
Oh, look at you, my sweet little
Mama!
baby.
Yeah, so Moses was raised in the royal Egyptian family, even though he was actually an Israelite. The Israelites were slaves of the Egyptians. But one day, God spoke to Moses through a burning bush.
I want you to bring the Israelites out of Egypt and into a land flowing with milk and honey. They are my people.
As much as I love milk and honey, I'm not sure I'm the right guy for the job.
I will be with you.
Oh, well, all right then.
Moses chose to stand with his own people, God's people, and he led them to freedom from slavery. Oh, you can do it now.
Oh, let my people go!
Mwah, beautiful.
Thank you.
The Israelites were free from slavery. And even though Moses didn't live to see the land flowing with milk and honey that God promised his people, Moses still had faith that God would keep his promise. Then there was David, who was anointed to be king of Israel.
That's right. I'm anointed. What does anointed mean?
It means you're not king yet. I'm still the king. So give me that crown.
Oh, okay. Here you go, King Saul.
Thank you. You're not getting this back. I'm going to be the king, and then my son will be king, and then my son's son will be king, and then my son's son will be king, and then...
Sorry, King Saul. God promised David he would be the next king.
He promised? Ah, man.
Thank you.
David was the next king of Israel like God promised. And God promised that David's family would always have a king on the throne. And even though King David would not live to see the birth of his descendant, who would rule God's people forever, David had faith that God would keep his promise. These people, they lived thousands of years ago, and they didn't always see what God promised them. But God could see things they couldn't see. And guess what? We can see things they couldn't see. We know the whole world was blessed through Abraham's family because one of Abraham's descendants was Jesus. We know that the Israelites made it into the land flowing with milk and honey.
Yes! Praise God.
And we know Jesus is also a descendant of King David. And even though we can't see forever, we can have faith that Jesus will always rule like a king because that's what God promised.
The end.
That was great, kids. Thank you so much for your help.
That is so cool, Kellen. You don't actually have to see something to believe in it.
That's right, which means you don't have to wear these anymore.
Oh, yeah.
True. We can have faith in God just by reading about people from the past. Or there are even things we can see today that can help us believe in God.
Such as?
Well, maybe you can see God in things He's created. Or you can see how God works in the lives of people around you.
That's true. Thanks, Kellen.
No problem. I'll catch you guys next time.
Okay, and I'll see you then.
Okay.
You know, I believe in things I can't see all the time.
You do?
Yeah, like air. Can't see it, believe in it though.
Oh,
What?
nothing. I expected you to say something like leprechauns.
Why would I say something like that?
No reason.
Do you know something I don't know, Brandon? Wait, are leprechauns real? Are leprechauns real?
Reveal the question. What are things you believe that you can't see? You got anything?
I don't know, maybe leprechauns.
Okay. What about you? What are things you believe that you can't see? Is it germs, radio waves, or something else? Talk about it together.
Yeah, I gotta find one, because they'll lead me to their pot of marshmallows or whatever.
There are no such thing as leprechauns.
Yeah, what is
I
it?
don't
What is
know
it?
why.
There's blue diamonds, orange stars, green clovers, purple horseshoes.
Okay, that was the So-and-So Show, folks. Goodbye.
Got to fade. Come here, little leprechaun.
You see, the truth is, there will be times in our life when you feel like you can't see. There will be things you won't understand or won't be sure of. But throughout it all, we can choose to trust and have faith in Jesus, even though we can't see him. Because we can still know Jesus, even though we've never seen him. And you might start to wonder about all this, you know? You might start to wonder, when can I put my faith in Jesus? How do I put my faith in Jesus? And it's super simple. For the when, you can put your faith in Jesus anytime. The great thing about God is that he's always there waiting for you to come to him, to tell him things. He's always listening. So whenever you want to put your faith in Jesus, he's there listening and ready to accept you. How to put your faith in Jesus? That's the even simpler part. All you have to do is just pray a prayer with all your heart, something like, Dear Lord, I know that you came as that baby in that manger, that you grew up and died on that cross, and you rose again for me. God, I choose to have faith in you. Lord, I want to love you and live for you and to serve you all the days of my life. God, please come into my heart. Lord, even though I can't see you, I know you're real, and I know that you love me so much, and I thank you for that. Lord, help me to always have faith no matter what, even though I can't see you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Just something along the lines of that, and that's how you put your faith in God. And choosing to have faith is a daily thing. Like I said, there will be things you won't understand, things you'll be unsure of, but every day we have to get up and say, God, I choose to still trust and have faith in you. Even though I might not see how things are going to turn out, I still trust in you, even though I can't see you. Another way to learn more about faith is you can open the Bible and read the stories of the men and women who chose to put their faith and their trust in Jesus, even though they can't see him. Another way is you can talk to your pastor, your Propel leaders, your parents, or a family member who you know believes in Jesus as their Savior. And you can ask them, how do you believe in Jesus? How do you put your faith in him, even though you can't see him? You see, when you see and hear how others have put their faith in Jesus, you can continue or even begin to put your faith in him too. So as we close today, I want you to think about something. The question is, what are things you believe that you can't see? You see, we put our faith in all sorts of things that we can't see or don't fully understand. For example, gravity. I can't see gravity, but I know it's there because I'm still on Earth. If we didn't have gravity, we'd all be floating all over the place. So even though I can't see it, I still trust that it's going to keep me to Earth, even though I can't see it. Now I want you to think about some of your own. And I want you to think about how those examples apply to your relationship with Jesus. For example, I know Jesus loves me, that he protects me, and that he's with me always. I can't see him love me or protect me or be with me, but I know he is. And I want you to think about examples like that concerning Jesus too. And if you're not sure what all this means for you, ask someone who you know believes in Jesus with all their heart. Ask them to explain it to you and help you to be able to understand faith even more. And remember to never forget, you can know Jesus even though you've never seen him. So with that being said, I hope you've learned something about faith today, and I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. And I also hope you come back next week as we continue our brand new series, Focus, as we're going to be continuing taking a look at faith. So until then, I hope you guys have a great week, and I hope to see you soon, Propel.
Thanks again, kids, for tuning in today. We hope that you enjoyed your time with us here at Propel. Now remember, June 21st, Father's Day is when we plan to relaunch and to open Propel back up. We'll put out more information really soon. We're looking forward to it. Also, during this time, make sure that you're downloading the activity guides and you're keeping up with all that. Memorize your memory verse so that when we have our Zoom meetings, remember Zoom meetings on Thursdays at 3 p.m. Contact me for all the information, and we will talk about the memory verse. We award you a prize if you memorize your verse, so make sure you're doing that. And also, don't forget to continue checking out the Pinterest board, CCC's Propel Zoom, and for all that we have there. Guys, we're looking forward to what the future holds. We love all of you, and we'll see you soon.